Hi, my name is Angela. I am a current PGY1 pharmacy resident, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about my progress so far in residency. I'm about 25% or a quarter of the way in, and so this is just going to kind of be a video outlining what the process has been like, how I'm feeling at this point in the game of like residency training, and then kind of things moving forward or looking forward ahead. So I'm doing this YouTube channel because I thought it would have been really helpful to have an insight into what a resident was going like at different points in their training. And while I do like the videos that I do on specific areas, I feel like it's also good to just take a step back and see what the process is like as a whole with everything kind of blended. So that's what this video is, and I think it'd be good to do that kind of quarterly to kind of just see what the workload's like, seeing what an experience of someone going through it is like. It's very different depending on who you are and what program you're in, but I thought this would be helpful. So far I've completed one rotation. I'm halfway into my second one. I've staffed, which I did a video on previously, and I still need to do a little bit more, but I've staffed weekends. I staffed an entire week, and I have had a meeting with my mentor. I've had, different feedback sessions with my preceptors, and I've completed a lot of different evaluations in pharm academic, which pharm academic I just want to touch on because that was said a lot when I was a student and no one explained it to me. And I'll put a link below into what it is, but basically when you're a fourth year student in pharmacy school, you have different online platforms where you mark your experiences, you reflect, your preceptors evaluate you. So pharm academic is similar to that, only I like to think of it a little bit more as like a grading area too. So you get graded on your rotations, of course, but it's basically where a lot of different people, not just preceptors and you, as the student, but other different, your program director, other different people who are involved with your training can access, and it's just one platform or domain. It shows how you're progressing as a whole. So of course you're gonna have reflections, but you're also gonna get graded, and it's gonna be on a lot of different areas, not just rotations. So it just helps keeps everything in one place. I kind of think of it as, like personal reflection, journal, things like that, but then also a grade book, and then the feedback from your preceptors. So it's just something that ASHP, or the accrediting body for residency programs, uses as across the whole to have their residents get graded, document their progress, things like that. So that's what pharm academic is, and definitely has started ever since residency started. I have started to get ahead with research. I am in a program where you do a flipped model, so I have not done any of the IRB research question development type of things. I have mainly done data collection and analysis, and starting to look at journals, starting to look at places to present. Might think it's far in advance, but deadlines are already coming up for those who want to do things this December or before the end of this year. But I will likely push those types of areas of research into the spring, and in December will probably be a manuscript portion of my research, just because it's flipped. But it could be very different for a lot of other programs. And aside from that, things I've been doing, still making sure I know where things are at, what resources are in my institution. There's a lot of different committees that we get involved in as residents, so those meetings have been starting, or you kind of get the layout of what it'll look like for the rest of the year. Different deadlines have started to become entered in calendars and things like that. So with all of that said, what I've done, and being this far, a quarter of the way in, I see like a mountain ahead of me of things that I need to do, and I'm excited, but I'm nervous how everything will be balanced out. It's similar to when you start like a school year or a semester. You just kind of see a huge mountain, and it's hard to not get a little intimidated by that. But I'm glad to say that I really do enjoy what I'm doing. I'm really glad that I chose to pursue residency and be enrolled in this type of a program. You kind of slowly get these experiences where you catch some things and some things you don't, on rotation. And you kind of understand that you are a pharmacist, but then you still don't know everything you need to know to be a clinical pharmacist. So I really like the fact that it feels slow, which, some people say, love the process and not just look at the results. I'm struggling to still love the process, but it is rewarding to know that you are no longer a student. You have the view on your different EHRs and platforms or whatever of a pharmacist, and so that helps you just do a lot better hands-on learning than when you're a student. And I do enjoy the feedback. It's very different than like on-the-job training, which varies wherever you're at, but residency specifically designed, and a lot of programs are specifically designed to give you as much feedback as possible to help you grow. So taking that, incorporating it daily, or as often as you can, feels really good and helps you see your progression. And I think that I really enjoy the fact that I have, a lot of different interests that I want to pursue, and I feel like I have the freedom to pursue them. So selecting a topic for different things or getting to choose my rotations, it feels really good. When you're a pharmacy student, some programs are limited and you have choice, but also you're part of like a lottery. So I feel that with residency, you're choosing a program that you're allowed to, or you likely will have a higher chance of flexing on your interest or your passions in your career. So I enjoy that feeling right now. But yeah, I think I'm just looking forward to keeping on track with my rotations. I'm very happy with my rotations. If you want me to do videos on the specific rotations, I think I've loved hearing from people. Okay, you're in the field of neurology, or you did neurology clinic. What was that like? What'd you do? How did it go? If that's something that any of you listening would benefit from, you can put it in the comments and I can kind of talk about that. But I like the rotations that I have so far, and I'm really excited to do future ones. I would really like to get as much research done as possible. Sometimes even with the research I did as a student, it piles up and before you know it, you're behind. So I would really like to not get behind and make that a priority so that by the next check-in, I have a lot done. And then, this is the time of the year where most people are starting to plan for PGY2, interactions or searches or, applications. People who do, students who are doing like industry or other different fellowships, that is a little bit earlier, but now I'm starting to think about PGY2 opportunities. I definitely want to do something in ambulatory care. So where I fit best and how this year's residency, application process goes with all the COVID changes is still very up in the air, but that's something that I will hopefully get to provide experience on this channel for anyone who could benefit from it. But yeah, so that's just kind of a check-in to kind of get an insight into what's been going on in my life as a resident. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. If you liked the video, just go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next week.